Hello everybody and welcome back to single player survival Minecraft. Just want to thank everyone for the suggestions I've been getting in the last week or so. They have been very much appreciated. Apologies if I don't get round to doing them all, or if I don't feel that it would be beneficial. It's just my opinion and it's just the way I want to go about doing things. I did get a really good suggestion yesterday on episode 204 from Warrior, which suggested that I build an aquarium. Now, obviously, an aquarium in medieval times, you can kind of question the ins and the outs. Is an aquarium really a medieval thing? But at the end of the day, I don't really care. We've got a museum. Is that really medieval? Even a library. I mean, there weren't that many libraries around. Your average town probably wouldn't have one. Post office, not really medieval. So we do have a few. As much as this town is based off of a medieval one, we do have a few buildings that are not linked to that time period whatsoever. So I see no problems with building an aquarium. So we'll get around to that at a later date. But for now we're going to be working here. This was my idea for a monastic school. Obviously the monasteries back in the Middle Ages were in charge of the education. As you can see, I've kind of marked out a couple of buildings. One here and one here. I've got a few issues. First of all, this building here, you can see it's marked out by the four corners. Oh yeah, for those that are wondering, I changed the fence around so that the bottom section had stairs. I like that a lot more. As you can tell, there are some areas where it maybe doesn't look so good. Like, I was struggling with the corners. I was really not sure what to do with the corners, and I just used half slabs and full blocks. But I don't know. The point is, we're not going to see it that often. It looks kind of worse around here. Obviously, the stone slabs are no longer below ground level. And I don't know, it just looks very, very weird. Now we can work on it another day. I'm going to put another building here. This is going to be the place where, this is going to be like the boarding area, where there's beds and whatnot. Now there's a few issues. The first one is, I wanted the building for the school to be long and narrow. This area does not represent a long and narrow building. It's more square than anything else. I mean, we could make it more narrow. We've obviously got that ability. I was thinking I wanted to take up as much of the area as possible, but I guess we don't really have to. We don't need to force a build into an area. Okay, so basically what I've done is I could not find a design I liked. I could not think of a design I liked. Therefore, I just went online, I had a look at block palettes, and I found a really, really interesting one. Now, I'm going to do the build anyway, but the block palette doesn't really go with the rest of the city. The rest of the city has very much a stone theme, and this is a clay theme. Now, well, it's only got one clay colour in it, which is cyan, so it does give it a darker feel. I'm going to set it up, okay, and then after I set it up, I will we'll have a look at it, we'll analyse it, and then I'll probably tear it down again. The build I've got looks alright, okay, it could easily be a build in another, well, even another part of the city, who knows, but it just I don't feel it fits in this area. But we'll see, I might surprise myself. Maybe if we surround it in trees or something, maybe if we surround it in trees, that'll make it stand out less, I don't know. Alright, so I'm just going to do a quick third person overview. As you can tell, my correct skin isn't showing. I am Legolas today, but that's okay. Reason being, I had to disable some antivirus software and I couldn't be bothered. I would do more of these, but the thing is, they take a long time to set up. I'm aware you can do them on the one computer. I just prefer to do them on two. But it does take a while to set up, and once you get everything sorted, then it's, yeah, a lot of time's passed. At least that's what I found. And often the builds I do don't really, I mean, I could do one for every single build in theory, but I feel often the builds aren't suitable. This one is, for a number of reasons. Most importantly, I did the build before. Like, I went into a creative world and I built it all just so I could see exactly what it was like, and so it was easy for me just to look across and copy it. Usually when I'm struggling over builds, it can be difficult for me to think and build, and often takes me several hours, by which point it makes editing one of these a pain in the neck. But there you go. Anyway, as you can see, this is the overview that I'm showing of the school build. It is a bit strange at the minute. Reserve your judgment until it's finished, please. Or you can just judge it right now. Either one, your choice. Failed ender pearl right there. But yeah, it was quite a strange build. It is quite a strange build. At time of recording, I haven't burnt it down yet, or burnt down what parts of it I can. It's still standing. I don't know. I'll explain more about it. As you can see, there is quite a bit of roof. I decided another bit of elevation would be nice there, so there is dark spots that mobs can spawn on the roof, which isn't so good, but we can put lights on it if we so desire. But overall, it's like, I think on balance it's a good build, but maybe just not in this context. However, I'm willing to go with it for now. We can, in a city context, we can adapt with different colours, different styles. I wouldn't say it's a different style, but it's definitely a vastly different colour and a vastly different block. I mean, I've not used clay at all. Oh well, not much clay in the city, but I feel there's scope for implementing it, and this could be one of them. I used black stained glass for the windows. I couldn't tell what the guy was using. Just to be clear, the build itself is my own, but the palette I copied from a house design I saw online. I'll explain more about that in a bit. But the guy that did that house, or whatever it was, he used a dark stained glass. I couldn't tell if it was black or grey, or, well, I wouldn't have been light grey because that's light, isn't it? But I just took a guess, went for black, and it looks vaguely okay. So that's my basis for going off of that. I usually use Movie Maker to implement speed alterations into the clips because it's got a better way of doing it, in my opinion, compared to Movie Studio. In this case, I just didn't bother, and I just altered the speed using the Movie Studio method. So it's not as fast as, I think the last one I did was the Guardian Farm. That one was pretty fast, and I used Movie Maker to render that clip, but this one was just Movie Studio. There's an interesting part of the roof here. The roof, I wouldn't say the roof definitely wasn't copied. Obviously the style of it was, but it wasn't copied block by block. I just implemented it as best as I could onto the build that I was doing. And as you can see, I've got the I'm doing inside at the moment. I actually like inside the way it turned out. It turned out okay. I don't have many complaints about that, but then again, when you're inside, you don't know what's outside. Well, for want of a better expression, you don't need to judge the inside based on what's outside because it's inside, if you know what I mean. However, outside, the external look of the build, yeah, you are looking at builds next to it and thinking, right, how does this look up against this or that or the next thing? And yeah, you've got those sorts of prejudices on your mind. So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one, I'll be honest. And it's not the most detailed build ever, but I'm willing to risk it for the biscuit, if you know what I mean. Might as well risk it, because if you don't, you'll never know what sticks. Just adding our classic jack-o'-lanterns. Yes, we are indeed having a jack-o'-lantern floor because they are all the rage these days. Everyone has them. The new houses they're building around the world have jack-o'-lantern floors. They are spectacular. They keep the place well lit. Obviously we will be adapting them shortly, but for now we'll just leave them as they are. I was actually watching a few videos at this point, so I had to edit a lot out because I kept I kept tabbing out and starting a video or stopping a video and all that. So it was, yeah, a lot going on, but I'm fairly happy with the progress that we've made on it, albeit it could be down in 24 hours, who knows. But there you go, there's the build, and I will show it off in just a bit. Okay, I know what you're thinking. It looks absolutely nothing like what I have anywhere else in the city. My only real explanation, as I said, was I could not think for the life of me of a design. I wasn't feeling very inspired. I was trying to look for, usually when I do a build, when I do any of these builds, I usually look for, some inspiration from anywhere at all. I don't care. So, for example, this cathedral took inspiration from a real life event when I visited St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. Looks absolutely nothing like St. Peter's Basilica, but it was that event, that place that I visited, was inspiration. This was inspired by a couple of tavern designs I saw on Google Images. This tavern that we built a couple of episodes ago. This was a little bit different, similar to that, but a little bit different. Basically, I was looking around at real life pictures, real life drawings of medieval monastic schools, just to see what they might have looked like. The problem I was having was I couldn't decide what blocks I should use, like what colours, and I was trying stone, and that was I couldn't make things stick, if you know what I mean. So what I did was I looked up block palettes, and I found this video, and this guy was showing off a few builds. None of them were like relevant whatsoever. They were mainly houses or parts of houses. And he showed off the block palette that you see in front of me right now, and I looked at it, and the way he designed the house, because I think it was a house it was detailed as, it looked really good, and I thought, yes, I can do something with that. And that's what I've done, as you can see. It's very, very plain. I will acknowledge that. It is very plain. I like the back of it, ironically. I think it's the first time I've preferred the back of a building to the front. I like the way the roof goes, and there's not too much roof. And, I mean, there's not that many blocks, but I really do like it. It does look kind of like a smaller church building compared with the bigger cathedral, but that's kind of what I was going for, in all honesty. Then you just go in, got a bit of a cobble floor, and then these are stairs, but they're supposed to represent seats. And I guess the only criticism is there's not really a place where a teacher or lecturer or tutor will sit or stand. There's not like a designated area, so you just have to assume that they pace around here or something like that. I really do like the inside. The inside, I think, is pretty cool. There's not really that much more I can do in the inside, if I'm honest. I mean, I could think of one or two things, but that's just what we've got so far. Under these pieces of carpet, there's lights there, there's lights hidden under the carpet here. You might have seen me put them in. I guess part of the criticism could be that there's a bit too much spruce wood. The roof is very, very there. There's a lot of roof, and obviously the walls can be fairly plain. I've tried to make them indent here. I've tried to droop a bit of the roof over, but they are very plain. So what I'm thinking of doing is we're going to have to work quite a bit with nature here, with vegetation. Add plants, add trees, add leaves. Spruce leaves was one of the other blocks in the palette that I missed out because I didn't think it fitted with what I was doing, but we may still add them. I think if we muck about with the vegetation, we can make something happen. What, I don't know, but hopefully we can just characterize the build a bit more. I kind of want to add something to the roof, try and make the roof a bit more like the back, if you know what I mean. Small things make it look better, if you can say that looks better. I mean, I personally think it does, but whatever. Okay, so at the minute I'm just adding the vegetation that I spoke of, mainly just grass and spruce trees. I like the spruce trees. The leaves definitely do go with the build, in my opinion. Also random boulders here and there, because I feel that just adds to the ground. And here I'm going to do some sort of I don't know, I was going for a pool, but it looks more like a river at this point, doesn't it? With the flowing water and the direct stream that I'm creating, definitely looks more like a river. There's not really anywhere for it to go, that's the thing. But we need a water feature, that's the point. I feel like a water feature would be cool. As you can see, I've kind of got an arch here that brings the water in from the moat that surrounds the cathedral. Alright, there we go, got the river in place. I can't remember what I said, but I think I said something along the lines of we needed a lot of vegetation. I don't think we need all that much. I think what we're doing at the minute is fine. It's subtle, It's just, you know, for decoration, and that should be enough to make this place look a bit better, in my opinion. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but at this stage, it's just about getting ideas. It's better to have an idea than to have no idea. I've been there. I was there earlier today when I was starting to record this video, and so I know what it's like to have absolutely no clue what you're doing. But here we actually have some sort of purpose. We do have a bit of, well, a bit of an idea of what we're doing. And I think it's coming along fairly well. I was hoping to have lights in the ground, so I'm not sure how we can implement those. Let's do that. I mean, okay, the one issue is there's no official way to go round, like there's no path or anything like that, and you kind of have to, yeah, it's a bit of a squash to get through, but I mean, I don't know, it's nice and wild. I think that's what I was looking for, was just something a bit different. It's kind of like a biome in itself, just in the middle of the city. It's to keep people sane while they are educated, because let's face it, sanity's always a good thing in education. Okay, so I've done a bit of work with the lights. I've just kind of implemented them onto these, well, leaf blocks that you see scattered around. I guess I could put one here. And these are just to provide a bit of light to the area, which is fine. I think it looks okay. I'm satisfied with it. Anyway, it's been a build I'm not too sure about. I am happy with it, even though it is slightly out of place, but I think in amongst the vegetation it looks okay. We will be adding another building over here, which is where it'll be like the housing area, the boarding area, whatever you want to call it. And I'm satisfied with things so far, but I mean, who knows? There's scope for change in that. But yeah. Just want to thank everyone for watching. Your viewing of this video and every video is very much appreciated. I will hopefully be back soon with another episode. Until then, I'll see you when I see you.